Coliseum in Denver. Joel Myers along with Christy Kraft and Tim Daggett as we get ready for the individual event finals. And first up on the floor exercise, our all-around champ, John Roethlisberger.
He had such a fantastic competition. He actually qualified for 5 of the 6 individual apparatuses in the finals. You know, and I think that first pass right there really characterized all of John's gymnastics in this championships. He really didn't knock our socks off, but it was so well done, giving nothing away whatsoever.
The top 6 competitors from the all-around competition yesterday qualified for the individual finals this afternoon, and what an honor it is to be included in today's portion of the program.
Yeah, most of the athletes we see on 1 or 2, maybe 3 events, but like I said earlier, 5 of the 6 events John Roethlisberger qualified on.
John was telling us just in the last day or two that he feels the men have to train harder. Maybe the last few years the U.S. men haven't tried to train quite as much as maybe they needed to. He said the Soviets really have set the standard in training. Feels there's room for improvement on the U.S. men's side.
Well, here is a perfect example of excellent conditioning. Watch this. Full in, back out at the end of a routine. That is so difficult. Most athletes are mounting with a skill like that, and after 70 seconds on the floor exercise, you're pretty tired, and it's hard to get that skill around.
So a good start for John Roethlisberger.
Let's take a look at why this is so difficult, so hard at the end of a routine. He needs a lot of speed, good power, does a full twist followed by a backflip. That's a lot to do at the end of a set.
Tough way to start the day on the floor exercise. Such a demanding and grueling event. And John Roethlisberger with a solid 9.775. And don't forget, the top scorer in each individual event wins the gold this afternoon. Up next on the floor, the national championship team at the University of Nebraska, Patrick Kirksey.
And boy, you know, John really threw it out right from the start there, 9.775. That's a difficult score to match. Patrick's biggest skill comes right off the bat here. Full twisting double back way up in the air. Now, the thing that was a little bit different about that is he actually did the twist on the second flip, whereas most of the other gymnasts are completing the full twist on the first rotation. Another thing that makes that a little bit more difficult is he doesn't have the aid of grabbing his knees and accelerating his rotation. He's doing it completely in the open position.
Patrick, a member of our U.S. national team this year, qualifying as one of the top 12 men in the all-around competition. Former competitive swimmer.
Oh, wow, that was incredible. You cannot land any better than that.
21-year-old Patrick Kirksey, the tallest member on the U.S. national team at 5 feet 10 inches.
We're going to look at his mount here to see just why it is more difficult. Remember, I said that he doesn't have the aid of grabbing his knees to accelerate his rotation. He does this in the complete open position, which is much more difficult. However, he almost steps out of bounds right there.
Just 4 weeks ago, Patrick finished 3rd best at the NCAA championships in the all-around competition at a 9.575.
Well, you know, he had a little bit of a stumble in the beginning, almost stepped out of bounds, and I think that really cost him some tenths.
Third up in the floor exercise, Lance Ringnald, who finished 3rd in the all-around competition yesterday.
If I had to pick an event where Lance has come the farthest, it's right here. Beautiful double layout somersault. Not quite enough rotation. Had to pike down and take that big hop. But here's his major tumbling pass. Watch. Oh, that is so difficult. That was a 1.5 twisting, 1 3/4 somersault, and landed in the rolling out position.
We are watching right now one of the most powerful tumblers on the U.S. men's side.
Yeah, he really has improved his technique and his power tremendously on this event. Beautiful double full, changing his direction from backwards to forwards, right into a front flip.
That bell you hear in the background tells the gymnast he has 20 seconds remaining in his minute and 10-second routine.
Oh, and what a landing. He wired that one. I think that's the best performance I've seen Lance Ringnald have on the floor exercise in his entire career.
An Olympian in 1988, the youngest member on our men's team at the Seoul Summer Games.
Now let's take a look at this. Watch what happens in one space of air here. He'll do 1.5 twists and 1 3/4 flip in the laid out position.
We may be looking right now at a new leader. On the men's floor exercise, Lance Ringnald coming up big in his first event of the day. He needs to top a 9.775, and he doesn't. So he is just trailing on the floor exercise. John Roethlisberger. Somewhat surprised him?
Boy, that's very surprising. I thought that was an excellent effort. I think they were a little tight on him.
Bob Stelter, also from the national championship team at the University of Nebraska.
And is this kid ever powerful? Maybe not as elegant, as graceful as some of the other athletes, but he just explodes on this event.
Bob has to really feel frustrated after just missing out, making the U.S. national team the top 12 qualified for the national side over the next 12 months. And Bob finished number 13, so Bob Stelter will not be representing the U.S. over the next 12 months in international competition.
Bob's working very nicely. That was a front to an immediate front flip, showing some acrobatic or bounding ability. There's a small break, though. He does his Y scale. This is usually a rest part, and you definitely do not want to give tenths away there, but it was a small deduction. Oh, beautiful dismount. That is the best dismount we've seen all day.
So Bob Stelter is trying to overtake a 9.775 John Roethlisberger.
For a complete floor exercise, it's not just tumbling and acrobatic elements. It's skills like this. This is called a straddled plunge. A little bit unique, and Bob does it very well. What we see here is the icing on the cake. A stocked routine followed up by an incredible full in back out, and he just wires this landing. Flawless.
So now Bob Stelter finds out if he is overtaken. Yes, he has. John Roethlisberger. There's the men's floor exercise champion, Bob Stelter, with a 9.875, and he just found out the good news. It's of little consolation as opposed to what happened yesterday, but he's got to be excited after not making the U.S. national team.
Oh, yeah, being a national champion is a great thrill for anyone, and I'm sure Bob is extremely pleased right now.
So we have completed one rotation of the men's division, with Bob Stelter winning the floor exercise, Roethlisberger picking up the silver, and Ringnald winning the bronze. We'll be right back to Denver as we get ready with the women's competition beginning.